What's up? Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about the short-term rental market, Airbnb, VRBO. As of about 4 or 5 years ago, became very popular to be a passive income generator for new investors and old investors alike. Now that that market is in turmoil, what this potential collapse looks like if you're an investor, if you're a buyer, if you are just a traveler looking at these places to stay. It means something different for each one of those. So let's dive in, take a look, and as always, please like and subscribe and follow along for more content like this. But let's dive right in. Okay, so why am I saying that cracks are forming in the foundation of these places? So it is market by market, and if you were depending on this thing to be a net positive at the end of the day for you and for an investment, then you are probably hurting right now and probably looking at one of a few options, which I see most being list the property and get out of it and try to get out of it for as much as possible to mitigate some losses. But Airbnb has reported 30 to 50% decrease in occupancy. Now, some of that is seasonality, but some of it is going to be here to stick, and I'm going to show you why. Let's just look at Pensacola, Florida. That is where I'm at. Let's be flexible with the date, and let's just search. And let's see. Well, you can see places as low as $41 a night. That is a pretty good deal. Let's zoom in on beach areas. So just with a slight zoom, not bringing into picture all that are available, you can see that they're dropping prices here, 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 and these are pretty significant price drops. Now, these may be a little bit of seasonality, but it's also due to there's a lot of competition. So when a lot of competition and you were buying this thing in 2020, 2021, when it was meant to be a net positive investment, you in that period of time over the last 5 years, you've probably doubled your insurance. Taxes and regulations. The regulations are some 15% taxes on some of these places in different markets. And now you're looking at something that you are paying for other people to vacation at, as well as, you're not getting the added benefit of what you were thinking was free vacations. So let's go in and look, and, let's just do a zoom in of the same area. We'll go to Zillow here. Just because I'm familiar with my area. This is the same. I've seen these reports as far as like Corpus Christi. A lot of big markets. Let's go to Pensacola, Florida. And I'm going to zoom around to the beach here. Let's say remove boundary. Click to see all homes. Let's zoom in and see what's for sale on the beach. All right, as you can see, some of these were just going to be on the market anyway, but some of these are most likely going to be something that somebody bought as a addition to a portfolio to then short-term rental. Now, where do we go from here if you're in a situation with a short-term rental and looking at the competition to sell as well as the competition to rent, and prices are dropping on both sides of that? All right, here we are. I have a short-term rental and I am now stuck in this thing, or perceived to be stuck. Now, what are your options? What can you do? Could you still buy other short-term rentals and not find yourself in this situation? What I always tell people is, if you can afford to lose the taxes and insurance on it every year, net negative, and you're still okay, then I would say, sure, you could pull the trigger on that, shoot for the stars, see what happens. If you are needing this thing to guarantee you a net positive, then you are probably you're in the wrong market for it. Short-term rentals, as you can see, are down 30 to 50% in some markets occupancy-wise. They are just not turning. So what's happened is the some municipalities and places are instituting a 15% tax on Airbnbs just because of they're trying to encourage more owner occupants in those areas, or long-term rentals to alleviate just every house sitting vacant most of the time with just influxes of renters. So if you want to go that route, if you can't afford, now let's say you can afford to lose a little, or here are your other options. You can sell the property, but as you see, even in our market, living on the beach, that the average days on market, 60 to depending on what your price point is, could be a lot longer. Now, if you can stomach that and hope to find a deal, or hope to find the next investor to come along and try to buy you out of it at some would say probably a little bit of a loss, but if you could hold it for maybe 2 more years and stomach to lose that taxes, insurance, be a net negative for those couple of years while we try to come out the other side of this, then you're probably in an okay spot. The other option is to switch this thing, switch your Airbnb to a long-term rental, hoping to negate as much of the loss or as much of the negative effect as you can. That can work, but you could also keep it at the short-term rental. Provide yourself a few vacations throughout the year, preferably not during peak times, and come out on the other side of this thing. So those are a couple options I see as I'm looking into these things. Okay, so what is going to happen next? You are going to see, so to understand where you're going to go with reassessing your strategy, or with assessing if you want to buy a short-term rental or not, you are going to have to look at where this market is headed. There are going to be a flood of these things hitting the market. Virtually 80% of these people who have dove into these things from, let's say, non-local markets are probably going to be, tossing these things on the market to sell. You're going to have lower nightly stay prices, and you are going, because you're going to have to get competitive, because everybody is, as you see, dropping the prices of per night. If you're a traveler, amazing. I mean, you're going to get some really good stays for some affordable prices while these things are in transition. So it could be a great time to travel. And then what I also think is the municipalities are going to be tightening up the regulations. They're losing tax money. They had to figure out a way to get in the pocket of these things. So there's going to be stricter regulations. It's going to make it a not fun market for a owner of these properties. All right, what to do next? The short-term rental bubble is bursting. That was inevitable when it became so popular to buy and put them on short-term rental programs. It's unfortunate, but the next moves of the market, we will see what'll happen. Like I said, more listings. There may be good opportunities. Like I said, if you can afford to be net negative on these things, not by a wide margin, but by a little, as prices start to trickle down, there's more negotiation in the market. You may be able to find a nice vacation property that you're not depending on a rental income from. So there are positives and benefits to this, but let me know what you're seeing, because I know the way this thing is headed is not the uplifting message that I like to be sharing in these times, but it is what it is, and there's always people in down markets who make great investments, and that's what I'm here to try to help you out with. And if you guys know anybody looking to buy or sell any of these properties, or just need some information, or want to bounce some ideas off somebody in any market, just shoot it to me. Feel free to comment below. I'd love to talk to you guys about this. And as always, happy selling, and look forward to talking to you guys on the other side.